Yo, what up, what up, what up, what up? My bad, bro. I was trying to text somebody. I met with a curator of the university's art gallery today, and she wants me to do a show at the university, but they make their schedule for like a year in advance. So actually, uh, 2022's schedule is already made up. So she's gonna put me on a schedule for 2023. So I have like 14 months to put together a good show for the university. I think I can do something in 14 months. Oh, them boys think they about to go get shot. Check them out now. Don't hurt nobody. Oh, we gonna be celebrating at the same time. Yeah, what I'm talking about, baby. Man, say shit, I'm graduating, nigga. 2023, nigga. I feel you, bruh. That's what it is, big homie. That's what it is. Like I say, that shit to young people, oh, that's so far away. Not really. It's just 14 months, bro. A year ain't nothing but 12 months. That shit fly by. That shit fly by. 12 months ain't shit. 14 months. Go grab this. Smoke the most. Yeah. Smoke the most. Oh, they got another season of F is for Family. I don't think I've watched every episode, but yo, the shit funny as hell, yo. Just the intro, him flying through the air, getting older, shows his childhood, his military career. Then he gets fat and bald and married with kids. F is for Family. I love Bill Burr, yo. I I don't know. Every time I think about that show, it's like, why didn't he just do a live action show? But then you gotta pay all the actors and all that shit, man. I just rather have voice actors. Uh, you know. And you can do a lot more in cartoons sometimes. I wonder if when he pitched it, is that how he initially pitched it, or did somebody else suggest the animation style? Like, yo, I want to do a TV show, man. You know, a sitcom, something funny. You know what, Bill? That sounds like a great idea. You should make it a cartoon. But that shit fucking works, yo. I like it. I'm waiting for some more episodes of Ozark, yo. That last episode when old boy shot the lawyer chick in the head. Like, this nigga gangster. Alright, 420. 420. 20, twin, twin. 20, twin, twin. Man, it's cold as shit up in here right now. Maybe because I'm drinking this cold ass drink. On Apple TV. See, you just trying to make me spend some more money on some more shit so I can sit around and watch TV, man. I think I got all the entertainment I need right now. Uh, 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 I got Amazon Prime, Netflix, HBO Max, of course Hulu and all the other free shits. But yeah, so we pay for Netflix, Amazon, and HBO. Between them three and YouTube, I don't feel like I need nothing else. I play video games too. If I have too much entertainment, man, I won't never get no fucking art done.
What if you could control a web with your mind? What if telekinesis was real? An interface for the same exact CSS property.
In just a couple of hours, the last word in the trial of the three men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery. The prosecutor will deliver a rebuttal to the closing arguments, and we will bring it to you live. It is the final chance to address what was a dramatic and controversial presentation from defense lawyers that some say evoked racist images of the antebellum South. This is what happened in closings. First, the lead prosecutor argued the defendants initiated the encounter with Ahmaud Arbery and were not, as they claim, acting in self-defense.
All three of these defendants made assumptions about what was going on that day, and they made their decision to attack Ahmaud Arbery in their driveways because he was a black man running down the street.
Now, lawyers for Travis McMichael, his father Greg, and William Roddy Bryan painted them as concerned neighbors.
Well, apparently, today is the closing arguments. Like, today is the last day of deliberating over the case, and they're gonna give it to the jury and let the jury come out with a fucking a verdict. So I think on the defense, the lawyer did plead the case of the one neighbor who didn't shoot the guy who just records the incident. Some people are trying to say that this guy tried to run Ahmaud Arbery over or block him off so that he couldn't get away. It's kind of hard to see that in the video, at least from the video that I saw. But I think that motherfucker fucked up. This motherfucker recording that shit. Instead of calling the cops, he got his gun on him. You can hear this motherfucker cock his gun, so that shit is loaded, ready to pop. But he still didn't actually physically get involved in the situation. So he was there. He didn't try to render aid or help to either side. He didn't call the authorities, and he just recorded with a loaded handgun. I mean, did he do anything wrong? I don't know, you know. But the father and son who like grabbed Arbery and shot him, like both of them niggas need to go to jail. 25 to life. Motherfuckers should get 25 to life, yo. Both of them. Because y'all ran in the house grabbing guns instead of calling the cops. That's how y'all feel? That's what y'all want to do? You feel like, oh, I should be able to kidnap and hold a motherfucker hostage at gunpoint until the authorities come? Or were they even going to call the authorities is the thing? Like, oh yeah, they would have charged you with something. Yo, not the birthday boy had birthday, bro. But yeah, them niggas wicked. You know what I'm saying? Even George Zimmerman called the cops. Even George Zimmerman at least called the fucking cops, yo. These motherfuckers ain't even attempt to call the cops or any authorities. They just ran outside with their fucking guns like, hey, you niggers, stop right there or I'ma fucking shoot you. And one dude run up on this motherfucker with a gun. He ain't got no weapon. You running up on me with a gun, nigga, get the fuck back. So he punches his ass and then this motherfucker shoot him. Like, bitch, I'm trying to get away from you, crazy ass white man with a shotgun. Oh, USP? 42? Like 42, nigga? Yeah, old nigga.
Worried about reports of burglaries in the area, and they blamed Arbery for his own death.
I told you about the thefts and the burglaries, the totality of the facts, why he believed what he did, that he wanted to follow him, that he wanted to talk to him, that he wanted to stop him, for the police to detain him. Don't be fooled by this word arrest. You don't have to announce you're under arrest.
Why isn't Mr. Arbery asking for help? Why isn't he calling out, hey, somebody call 911. There's crazy people after me. Maybe that's because Mr. Arbery doesn't want help.
Turning Ahmaud Arbery into a victim after the choices that he made does not reflect the reality of what brought Ahmaud Arbery to Satilla Shores in his khaki shorts with no socks to cover his long, dirty toenails.
Joining me now, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson and CNN senior legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Elie Honig. Friends, we're going to get to the long, dirty toenails issue in just a moment. First, though, Elie, I want to address what we're going to see this morning, which is a rebuttal from the prosecution. What exactly is that, and why is it important that it's happening this morning?
So a rebuttal is the final word, is the prosecutor's chance to address, and hopefully if you're the prosecutor, correct all the things that the defense lawyers, in this case 3 of them, just argued. Now, I think there's an interesting tactical advantage to the prosecutor to getting to go this morning. Now, when I was giving rebuttals as a prosecutor, I used to like to try to stand up immediately before the defense lawyer even hit the seat and basically say, everything that guy just said is bogus. However, there's a practical issue with the 4:30 p.m. rebuttal. You've got a jury that's been sitting there all day. They're exhausted. They've heard more information than any human being could process. And the whole time you're going, they're just going to be thinking, oh my God, I got to get to the supermarket. I got to feed my kids. It's 5:15. What's going on? Now they go home, they sleep. You get to open today as the prosecutor. You get the final word. Judge instructs them. They deliberate. The most recent thing they've heard is your rebuttal. So I think there's a nice advantage there for the prosecutors.
Joey, I want to address what we just heard from the defense there. The long, dirty toenails for Ahmaud Arbery. That was from one of the defense attorneys there. I had a chance to speak to Arbery's mother, Wanda Coop Jones, overnight. This is what she said about the moment. It actually caused her to get up and walk out of the courtroom when that was said. Listen.
People with ADHD save 10 hours studying with this Chrome extension. But no, by all means, go ahead.
Very disturbing. I thought it was very, very rude to talk about his long, dirty toenails and to totally neglect that my son had a huge hole in his chest where he was shot with that shotgun. I sat there for the last 2 weeks, let them dehumanize my son, who wasn't doing anything wrong the day that he chose to go for that afternoon job.
A deplorable and most unfortunate tactic. Listen, I get and understand the defense has a job to do, right? That's the job I do. That's the job we do as defense lawyers. The reality is though you have to thread that needle and thread that line. This was just outwardly and blatantly, in my view, racist. You want to talk about dehumanization? That's what it was about. You have to look at what she said in the context of her larger argument. Her larger argument, John, was about our neighborhood, an interloper coming in here. We had issues with our neighborhood. We had curfews. We were on edge in our neighborhood. And so if you ask me, she's speaking to that 11-1 split, right? Let's address the elephant in the room. We know from the outset that it was 11 white jurors and 1 African-American juror, notwithstanding the demographics of the area, which are 75% white, 25% black. And so I believe that she was really amping that up and trying to wrap her client up in, he is one of you, do not convict. That's not, certainly you want to have the notion of not convicting my client, but to do it in that manner, I just think transcends the bounds of decency and is not what we should be doing.
How does the prosecution deal with that in rebuttal, if at all?
I think the prosecution will deal with that in outstanding fashion. I think the prosecution all along has made the argument that this shouldn't have happened, didn't need to happen, there was no basis in it happening, but not just saying that, grounding it in law. Why? You talk about citizens arrest law. Citizens arrest applies when you're actually seeing a crime or you have immediate knowledge of a crime. The defense has been arguing about things that happened the week before, 2 weeks before, the month before. No, it's about what happened now. What, John, did the prosecutor say in her, not rebuttal yet, that's this morning, in her initial argument? He was killed because he was a black man walking down the street. She'll get up and say, I told you so, right? And the fact of the matter is that I think when she talks about the prosecutor, the issues of self, why? He wasn't engaging, that is Ahmaud Arbery, in any felony. He didn't provoke, they provoked. They were the initial aggressor. This is part and parcel, the prosecution will argue, of an issue that didn't need to happen. It happened predicated upon race. And you know what? Their defense lawyer told you so. She'll slam them today.
Do you think the prosecution needs to address that really controversial, some would say deplorable comment And what else, Ellie, do you think the prosecution needs to do this morning?
Yeah, so I agree with Joe. I think if the prosecution does its job well today, they can turn that right back around on the defense, right? They can argue, you heard a lot of things from both defense lawyers that was either, I think, explicitly almost racist with the long toenails, but also a lot of coded stuff with the neighborhood. And there was a lot of talk from the defense lawyers about the panic, the worry, the concern of the people in this neighborhood, that their way of life was being threatened. And I think you turn that around and you say, that's why they overreacted, folks. That's why this was not a legitimate citizen's arrest, because they were not acting rationally, these defendants. They were acting rashly and unfairly, and that's why they jumped to conclusions, getting back to the prosecution's defense, and made what the prosecutor called driveway decisions. I do think it's worth noting just the grace of Ms. Cooper-Jones. I mean, to sit through this trial, to have her son, deceased son, attacked like that, and to just put on the demonstration of grace that she showed in that interview.
Also, one thing that I noticed in the defense yesterday that we hadn't seen directly before is 3 separate defendants here who have 3 different sets of interests. And the attorney for Ronnie Bryant at the end there, in his closing, seemed to be suggesting, you know what, my client's a different matter here. There may have been a crime, but my client was just filming it. In fact, you wouldn't even know there was a crime if my client wasn't there. And if I'm in the jury, I might be thinking, is this one of the defense lawyers saying that the other 2 guys are guilty?
Well, it is, but the problem, John, is that should have been capitalized at the outset. What you do as a defense lawyer or prosecutor is you have a theme and a theory. And I thought that the theory he had at the end actually resonated, My client had no intent. He was there. He's in the neighborhood. No one knows him. He saw something happening. He didn't have a gun with him at all. He didn't have a rifle with him at all. He just happened upon a scene. He filmed it. He cooperated. What's he doing here? It was those guys who did it. He didn't even make an opening statement. Had he made the opening statement and put his theory out there, right, and repeatedly every witness, sir, it's fair to say that my client, you knew that he came after the fact. Is that right, officer? And you knew he filmed it. Is that right? And he cooperated with you. Is that true also? So if you had that out there as a long-standing matter, I think it would have been more effective than at the end to come and then to say, oh, by the way, he was just there. And so, we'll see how it resonates at the end of the day. I just think it was a lost opportunity not to do that from the outset.
Joey Jackson, Ellie Honig, thank you both very much.
Michaels has everything to create meaningful gifts and meaningful moments. Shop now at Michaels.com.
It wasn't cut.
So what you guys think the verdict gonna be? Okay, we already know young bull, he done got off his shit. But for the Arbery killings, what do you think that verdict gonna be, yo? You think he gonna get off too? You think that father and son gonna get off? Or what? Cause that shit seem kinda fishy. Them boys feeling real iffy. All right, peace, bro. Let me see something real quick. Why can't I find my fucking tent yet? Thinking before I do this. I bet I can save some time. Oh, you know how I do, man. He said it's the most artsy trap house I've ever seen. Hey, that's the only way I know how to get down. I'm trying to see if I can make this drawing go quicker. So I came up with this little drawing on the iPad. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Came up with this drawing on the iPad. But instead of like drawing it over, what if I use my projector? Yeah. So let's see something. What the fuck I do with my pencil? Alright, there we go. really didn't. It is, and that didn't really work like I thought it was. So it's not. I don't know. That shit not work. It's not working. All right, so I just gotta do it. I thought that'd be faster, but nah. Now I need a fucking eraser. Shit. I thought I had a fat red eraser. No? I thought I had like one of them pink erasers. Oh. Alright, so it's just like oh, my bad. I guess we need something to listen to. This shit kind of boring. I just did that. What did I do? Oh, I don't know what to say. can't I get this fucking arm to look right, yo? Oh, I should have tried my man more. Shit. Alright, so if his shoulders here, maybe. Alright. This shit's gonna drive me crazy, yeah. Alright, that's it. It's all about proportions. I'm trying to make sure it's at least proportionate. It's gonna be somewhat like cartoony. I mean, this is the style that he's asking for, which is weird. Like, I'd rather have like a photograph as a reference, but he doesn't really want that. He wants like cartoonish. I don't know. So now I just gotta come up with some shit out my imagination, which is way harder for me. I don't know. It just is. I'd rather have a reference photo. But now I gotta like really create some shit. I should have charged them more because this is on some different level. You know? I switched it up a little bit. So instead of the right foot taking a step, I switched it And then instead of the lantern being held down, I put it up. So this was the first like rough draft of this. And as you can see, like the little bit of changes I made, but oh yeah, I already know. I said I should have charged them more, definitely. I didn't know what I was thinking, man. But he's a repeat customer, so I try to look out. He's a really big fan of my art. He just wants to own like art. But his ideas are like really, really specific where I have to like actually work. Like these are not coming up with the layout, the imagery and all this shit. Like I really have to use my imagination for this shit cuz he just tells me what he wants. It's not like he's handing me a photo and be like, "Yo, paint this." He kind of like describes this scenario and I'm like, okay. Then I got to put all this shit together. So it's the parting of the Red Sea, but it's a boy, like the red how they tell the story of the Red Sea parting with Moses and all that. But instead of Moses, it's like a young boy walking through the parted oceans, carrying a lantern, and his shadow, the outline of his shadow is going to be a scripture. He wants the words written like on the like to border his shadow. It's I don't know. It's very unique concept indeed. Very cool idea. Happy he chose me to do it, but I definitely could have charged him a little bit more on this shit. Yeah. That's my B though. You know what I'm saying? But I'm making a client happy, and he's gonna tell all his people that I'm like the best artist in the world, which is almost true. So I'm about to send a picture to the client now. Let them see I got started on this. And I'm going to cut out a little early. I had a really good meeting after work today. I met with a lady from the University of Scranton and talked about doing a show. But it threw me off by an hour, you know? In my little... It threw my little afternoon routine off by an hour. So even though I've only been here for 56 minutes, shit feel late as shit to me right now. I ain't gonna lie. Man, I'm about to go play some video games and get me some dinner and get my ass ready for work in the morning. What I did with that? Oh, that shit is still on the thing. I probably won't come back up here this evening, so I'll make sure I take my iPad and my pencil down. Yeah, man, I hope y'all have a good evening. Peace. Till next time.